Well, everybody, it's been quite some time since we've last talked or even seen each other. Basically, I'm going to cut straight to the point and fill you guys in on what has happened. Essentially, once we won the lottery, we decided to pay off all of our debts in Ohio, and then we looked into moving because we have always wanted to move and go to a new place and try out some new locations, and now we are here in Alma, Missouri. With that being said, we did purchase a lot of new equipment. As you can see, we got a brand new international semi with a low loader that we can get a lot of use out, whether that be hauling new equipment, old equipment, or even just moving equipment around. But with that being said, I had it with a heavy heart and I couldn't get rid of my MX-180. Everybody knows that I love this thing and been running it for years, so we had to bring this along, but I think you guys are going to be very surprised to see what is next. So before we get into any of the equipment I purchased, I do want to do a quick little run through of the farm. So basically we have our cold storage over here. We have a couple of grain bins that can be set up with an auger. We've got another little setup. We've got the house here that we'll be living in that comes with a nice little garage. And then we even have the option to run some cows, since the guy that was here recently had cows and horses. So when he passed away, they got rid of them all, but they left the buildings. So maybe that's something we can look into, but if not, I guess we can replace them. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead, jump in the semi and take it down and go take a look at all the equipment we purchased. So like I said, it was hard to leave Ohio behind, and we had a lot of good memories there until the end, of course, but it was just the right move for us to make, and I think we'll end up benefiting from making this move. So we're entering town. Basically what we had happen is, since we had such a large amount of money, yes, we did save a lot of it. We also used a lot of it to buy the land, and of course a big chunk of it went to the equipment. But basically what we did is we had a bunch of truckers haul all of our equipment here, and we bought them in various places, but I think you guys will be very surprised to see what we're running. So we've got the Landau completely unhooked and we're ready to start loading up some equipment, and without further ado, here's the big reveal. I know this is going to be very controversial and a lot of people probably aren't going to like it, but yes, we are going to be running, other than the MX-180, all Fendt tractors. Basically we had a guy that came down and sold us on the farm in Ohio once he heard we had won the money. He came by and he basically, he sold us on it, and he was very convincing. We test drove a couple of them out, and it just seemed like the right thing to do, and since we had the money, why not? With that being said, though, I'm going to be very, very, very surprised to see if this Ideal lives up to the hype. And then, of course, we had to go with some stuff that we already knew worked, such as the Kinsey planter. We love those. Brent makes a great gravity wagon, and they also make great auger wagons, so we decided to pick up one of the auger wagons. We did purchase this off the guy who owned the shop in Ohio. It was a kind of a farewell for us, so we decided to buy one for him, and I hope we can use this on the MX-180, maybe do a little bit of ripping here and there. And then, of course, we need a big thing for tillage, and we decided to get this big Landau disc. So, yes, we're going to get some semis and stuff, but first off, it's not necessarily harvest season yet, so we're going to go ahead and start moving this equipment. So yeah, these tractors are very, very, very nice. I guess what we could do is probably, instead of loading them up one by one, we could drive the tractors back and be shuttled back here with the local transport company, or we could haul them, since we have the ability to do that too. So I think first off, we're going to go ahead and take this tractor with the Landau, and we're just going to drive it back to the farm. We now have the Landau hooked up to the Fendt 1038, and I will say this is an absolutely gorgeous setup. I really hope this works for us, because like I said, when we test drove them, they worked perfectly, and I think they'll work even better in the field. So we'll go ahead and get this on the road. So we've just arrived at the farm, and I will say this is not going to ever get old looking at pulling in this place. It has been well upkept, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start parking these things in the grass, and then slowly one by one we will arrange the shed how we want it, and we may even add on another shed. We'll just have to wait and see. So we've just got back, the company dropped us off, and we grabbed this Fendt 1038 Vario, and we're going to put it on this Kinsey, and we're just going to go ahead and hit the road with that too. I think we might take the combine and put it on the low loader, but I guess we'll see how it is. And then eventually too, we're going to throw this beautiful blackout version Fendt with the flotation tires. We're going to put that on the Brent auger wagon. So we're going to move around a little bit, and then of course we still have some stuff left to buy, and some things local caught our eye, so we might take a look at those, or we might just straight order them, and then we will proceed with our day. I will say, while we're looking at this, there is going to be a lot of a learning curve here, as there's a lot of bells and whistles that we haven't seen, especially when we were in Ohio, because that's just not equipment we ran. We were running all old equipment. So yeah, it's going to definitely take a lot of phone calls to figure these things out, but I think once we get the hang of it, it'll pay off running a very good tractor company. And now that we've got the planter and the other tractor dropped off, it's time to grab our last tractor here, hook it up to this beautiful auger wagon, and then we should be able to get the combine back by the end of the day. Before we head back to the farm, I will have to say this setup we have on this Brent 1196 grain cart hooked up to this Fendt, this is a clean setup, and the fact that it's blacked out and matches the combine, I think this is going to be one sight to see in the field. So we've got the Fendt Ideal now fully started up and ready to go. I think all we've got left to do is load it up on the semi so we can actually get the low loader and the semi back, and then eventually we'll come and get the heads. It's not a dire need right this second since we don't have any wheat ground, and we're just going to have corn and soybeans this first growing season. So yeah, and then after that we will need to purchase a couple of grain trucks and pick them up as well. Okay, so we got the Fendt all loaded up, and I will say this might be the widest load I've ever seen. I mean, look how much is sticking out even with the outriggers completely out. Originally, I would have taken the duals off, but since it's right down the road and it's not heavily populated, we're just going to go ahead and truck it on down to the farm. So we're on the road now, and as you can see, the tires pretty much take up my entire mirror in the semi. So we definitely got some sharp turns, and even this stop sign is going to be an entire challenge, so let's just hope that nobody gets in our way. So we're back on the farm now, and I will say that was actually pretty nerve-wracking. We met a few vehicles on the way, and we pretty much had to get all the way over because this is one wide load. So I'm glad we didn't meet any equipment. So without further ado, we will go ahead, drop this down, and get the combine unloaded. So the big thing with this combine that we want to go ahead and test, that I didn't even remotely remember to look into, is to see if this thing will even fit in the shed, because if not, we might be going ahead and installing a shop really fast. Well, without a doubt, this thing fits, you know, as easy as it can, so really happy with that outcome. I totally brain farted on that and didn't even think to do the measurements on that, so I'm glad it works out because this is our tallest piece of equipment. And yeah, so now basically we just need to go grab a couple new trucks and look on the market for what we want. Before we start looking for some trucks and trailers to buy and hopefully purchase some things in a relatively short manner, we do need to go ahead and put this equipment up. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get these all in the barn. Well, everything is now put in the sheds accordingly. And I know what you're going to ask, why do we have so many tractors if we don't have that many of us? Well, with having a few family members that moved with us comes a couple of new hires. So essentially we hired a few new people, so obviously we're going to have a bigger fleet, and we may even look at expanding to 2 combines. So that about does it for just this part of putting stuff up. So we're going to go ahead, go back to the house, relax a little bit, and we are going to find us some trucks that will work for us on this farm. Well, everybody, it is bright and early. About a month has passed. It is now September. It's currently about 5:18 a.m. last time I checked, and we have made quite a few purchases for semis and grain trailers. So we're going to run down to where we got them delivered, and at bare minimum, just check them out and make sure they're everything we wanted. Well, we just got dropped off, and here is the big reveal. Yes, I know I'm going to get harped on for having these heads still sitting up here, but we have a header cart ordered, and then the corn head does fold. So we will have those back soon, but we special ordered the header carts, and they just haven't come in yet. So starting us off, we did purchase two Volvos that are actually identical. We got them custom set up to be this color, which is kind of the colors representing our farm that we like, this white and then a greenish. So we purchased two of those, and then we came over here and got a Mack, and we matched the color on that as well. And then of course we have our 3 Wilson pace setter trailers with the automatic cover on the top, so we don't have to manually roll them. This is going to be a real nice addition if we know rain is coming and we want to try to squeeze a couple more acres in. And then another big reveal is we decided to buy this Ram service truck. Since we didn't have a good pickup truck, it was getting beat up, so we traded off our old pickup truck, and now we have this. So without further ado, we will get these moved back, but until then, we will catch y'all in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching another edition of the Ohio Map series, which I guess we'll call it the Ohio Map series. I know it is in Alma now, but I think we're just going to keep it at the Ohio Map series. So nonetheless, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Once again, Happy New Year to everybody. There is a lot of big things coming from me and a lot of other creators this upcoming year, so stay tuned. We're going to pump out a lot of videos here since we've taken a 2-week break, but nonetheless, we will catch y'all in the next one.